So yes, I guess we are live now. So we can start our session. So there was some issue from my side in the last session. So anyways, we cannot cover this cross-browser parallel execution in 30 minutes. So I thought let's have a quick Q&A session. So whatever queries you guys have, please let me know. We can have a Q&A session and let me see what kind of questions I can answer. I will try my best. Hi Manoj, hi Satish, thank you so much for joining. So let's wait for a couple of minutes, let other people join, and then we'll start with our Q&A session. Paritosh Sharma, hi Paritosh. Now Satish is how to perform inside scrolling on a web page. So Satish, by default, Selenium 4 have, so after 3.6.0 we can have automatic scrolling for a web page. But if you have a particular web element that you have a container or a section, there if you have a scroller, you have to use scroll into view. This is not coming from Selenium, this comes from JavaScript. So you have to use JavaScript executor for this. So just typecast this, then you can call scroll into view and just mark scroll into view, call this method, and you will be able to scroll till that particular element is not getting found. So suppose there's a container. So in this container, you want to click on this particular button or maybe some text, but only this part is visible. So scroll into will keep on scrolling until this element is not found. So if you want, I can give you a link right away. Scroll into view Selenium. I have a dedicated video also, and this is the blog link which I have. So Dhananjay, Pallavi, Nitiratna, Lipika, Shriram, Pasha, Jalinder, thank you so much for joining. Now, Manoj says, what is the best way to explain BDD framework end-to-end with and with an example? Okay, Manoj, I might have to create a dedicated video on this because there are a lot of noise on the market. What is the difference between like ATDD, TTD, BTD? What is the difference when to use what? So maybe I will come up with a new video on this. Okay, so Dhananjay says how to interact with SVG related elements. So Dhananjay, for SVG element, you cannot go with the normal XPath functions. Okay, you have to use some additional functions. So for SVG, I don't have any video, but Navin Automation Labs have already covered this SVG element. So if you have a time, please go ahead and watch his channel. Otherwise, I will also come up with a new video how to handle SVG element. Rohit Shinde says how we can execute our framework in real time using TestNG or Maven or Jenkins. See Rohit, you are saying or. It's not or. So in real time, what will happen? Like you will be having your Jenkins jobs or any, let's say TeamCity, Bamboo, any CI server. So these CI servers will be taking your code from your GitHub or GitLab or any cloud repository. It will download the code in the respective machine where Maven will execute. So when you say MVN test, so Maven will run your pom.xml, right? Pom.xml will trigger your testng.xml. So it should not be or. So basically Jenkins will get the code from GitHub, then MVN test will trigger, which will run your testng.xml. So there are a lot of, I will say, use cases. Few company use CI server, few company don't use CI server, but ideally we should have a CI server like Jenkins or TeamCity, where job is configured in a such a way that if any change is happening in your application, or let's say in the master branch, the number of tests should get executed and you should get the result. There should be some predefined builds which will run automatically based on the changes done by developer. There can be few jobs as well independently that you will trigger whenever you have execution. There could be a few jobs that will run overnight. So there are multiple use cases, but you should not say or. You cannot run TestNG alone. Okay, you can run, but ideal way is run through your Maven build, and Jenkins will simply run your Maven pom.xml file. Rohit, you got my answer right? So I have a playlist which actually covers this scenario. So once your development is done, right, you will be pushing the code to GitHub. Then Jenkins will keep on running your test cases, and your code will be coming from GitHub. So Gokul says Selenium is huge ocean like Java, or it's not. See, Gokul, I would not say it's like ocean. There are a lot of methods available, right? You will not be working with each and every method, obviously. Even I'm not aware of all the methods, frankly speaking. I would say 70 to 80% methods I know. Still 20% methods I have not even used because I did not get a chance, or maybe I did not get a requirement. So you don't have to learn everything about Selenium, but there's a Pareto principle, right? Maybe I can show you the book. There's a book called 80-20 principle, right? So this is like applicable in every area. So 20% topics we use 80% of the time. Same thing, like 20% friends we call 80% of the time, right? 20% movies you watch 80% of the time. So there's a one common principle, 80-20 Pareto principle. Same goes in whether you go with programming language or any tool. 20% topics can cover 80% of the things. So this is what we focus more, right? You don't have to learn everything, but learn what is important, learn what exactly we are going to implement in real time. Okay, and whenever you have additional time, go through the additional methods. Not only in Selenium, even in Cypress, if you see, each and every method have a different variations. Each and every command have a different variation. You cannot learn each and every method. You cannot learn each and every implementation. Use what is required and then continue. Ashish says, hi Mukesh, please reply to my email. Ashish, I got your email. So give me time till tomorrow. Maybe we'll connect on this weekend and we can discuss. Okay, so there's a very interesting question from Zia. Zia says, hi Mukesh, I joined a new organization as SDET. I have 2 years experience in Selenium, but the new organization, they are making me to work with XLIQ Codeless tool. Can you please tell me what should you do now? Says, yeah. Now, there are a lot of codeless based tool available in the market. So XLIQ is one of them, Test Sigma is one of them, Test Trigger is one of them. So here you don't have to write any programming language at all, right? You don't have to write a single line of code. You just need to write your plain English and your test will get executed. Now you must be worried that if I just go with this tool, will I be able to sustain in the market? Will I be able to crack my next interviews? Which is perfectly fine. Parallelly, you have to keep upgrading here as well, okay? So you will be writing your complete test cases using your plain test English, which is fine, and you will not find much issues. Plus you will have a paid support team which will be helping you to fix this. So this is good. At least you're getting a chance to work with these kind of tools. So in the next interviews you can talk about what features it has, what limitations it has. You can now compare. Selenium is like evergreen market. It will be in the market for the next 5-10 years. Don't worry, but do not lose the touch. Keep automating, keep attending this live Q&A sessions. Whatever new features Selenium are providing, keep exploring that. So no harm in that. One thing is you have to stick to your job. Okay, whatever your job demands, you need to do that. Whether it's a Golang, Python, C#, whatever it is, keep doing that. But parallelly stick to one track and continue. So I don't think any harm. Please continue with that. Shushma says, hi sir. Hi Shushma. Dayanidhi says, what will be the approach if the framework got crashed? So Dayanidhi, I don't think there's some term called framework got crashed. Okay, so our framework is not like an application which will get crashed. But if your framework is not working, then you can use this term, but still crash is not a good word. You can see what if your framework is not working, maybe it's giving some errors, maybe the tests are not running. In that case, most of the times it happens because of the compatibility issues. Okay, let's say you have developed the complete script on Java 8 or Java 11, but the new virtual machines or the containers you have, they have Java 16 or Java 18. Maybe the plugin compatibility, Maven Surefire plugin, Maven compiler plugin, maybe the library dependency is not matching the compatibility issue. Most of the time you will get groovy issues, right? Code has an issues. That is again because of the libraries. Sometimes locator might change. So framework will never got crash. Okay, it will stop running the test. That could be because of the compatibility issue, or could be the complete locator has been changed. So you have to actually analyze what went wrong and then fix it. There's no such template as such that yes, do this and this will fix. Understand at which level your framework is not working and then go ahead. Does SDET has to have SQL views? Yes, definitely. You should have basic understanding of SQL. Say if your project depends that you have to connect with the database, you have to fire some queries, you need to validate some data, then obviously you should have a SQL knowledge. And it's very, very easy, guys. Hardly in 2-3 hours you can learn SQL. I will not say you will be master, but within 2-3 hours you will get a good understanding of SQL. If you guys want a dedicated videos on SQL, let me know. I can start a new series on as well. Very easy. So there are two ways to learn SQL. Either you install one SQL client on your system, or you can use SQL on cloud, okay, where you don't have to install anything. You can practice your SQL queries and you can continue. So let me know, guys, if you need a dedicated series on SQL. But yes, important. But again, if your job don't demand it, then keep it optional, but it's good to have. Krishna says how BDD with testng works without @test annotation, how it makes links between test runner and testng.xml file. So Krishna, when you go with BDD with testng, still we have a runner, right? It is just instead of using org.junit, we use org.testng. So Krishna, just wait for maybe 2 more weeks. I will be starting a Cucumber series soon. Pooja Purohit says, what is Salesforce testing? So Pooja, when you just test the Salesforce application, right? So if I just show you one tool, just hold on. So testing the Salesforce application, and there's a dedicated tool called Prover which will help you to do Salesforce testing. Check out this Pooja right away. You will get one idea. Jalinder says, hey Mukesh, please answer my question. Jalinder, I'm going through one by one. Just hold on. I'm just going through each and every question. Maybe I missed your question. Let me see, where is your question? Jalinder, you just said hi. That's all. Please let me know what is your query. Chandan says how to implement task scheduler in robot framework. See, instead of task scheduler, Chandan, I would say go with the cron pattern. That is because task scheduler is only for Windows, right? But when you go with cron pattern scheduler, it works in every system. Subhash says, what is the 20% of Selenium use most of the time? So Subhash, for that you need to go through my one of the video where I mentioned what are the topics you need to learn in Selenium. Madhuri says, how would your iNeuron course will help in the transition to testing? I don't see any opportunity for Cypress and Naukri. So Madhuri, today itself I got one mail from JP Morgan where they mentioned Cypress is one of the requirement. If you are looking for a job in Cypress, if you want that whether the companies are using or not, let me know your email. I can forward that requirement to you. Companies are looking for Cypress. Companies are looking for Playwright. Obviously, the number of openings are less. That I totally agree. Still, market is captured by Selenium. So 70-30 or 60-40, but still companies are evolving. They are moving towards new framework as well. So it's all about the demand. If they are using Selenium, no problem. But if they're planning to implement Cypress, maybe Playwright or any other tool, so definitely they will start hiring. So luckily today itself I got one email. So let me know if you are looking for a change. I can share that JD with you. Sohail says, which ID is better for Selenium with Java, Eclipse or IntelliJ? Sohail, it's individual choice. At the end of the day, you will be calling methods, you will be creating classes, right? I use personally Eclipse, but most of the recent, I'm an old guy, so you can say I'm using Eclipse, but most of the new people use IntelliJ. So go ahead with that. IntelliJ obviously have this some new UI and auto completion. So in Eclipse, you have to press control space every time, right? If you type system, control space. If you type anything, control space. But IntelliJ, the moment you type A, B, C, anything, it will start giving auto suggestions. Many people use IntelliJ. Go ahead with that. I use Eclipse. Sahi Verma says, what is the path of Selenium automation after 15 years? Path after test architect. See, Sahi, again, I will not say that you have to stick to only Selenium for the rest of your life, right? You have to also explore the different areas. So Selenium is just one part of it, web automation. But what about the others areas? You have to cover all the areas. API, BDD, mobile. Once you're done, go with the non-function. And once you're done with the complete automation, go from, like, I will not say just immediately move. If you want to be in testing, go ahead. Otherwise, you can learn cloud and you can explore the cloud areas as well. Selenium is not like I will say you have to stay whole life. But if your question says what should be the roadmap, then in the first video itself, the moment we started this community session, we discussed this part. Dhananjay, Selenium versus Cypress. So Dhananjay, this is similar to, do you like apple or do you like orange? Okay, they both are fruits, right? They both have its own taste, but few people like orange, few people don't like. But they both are fruits. In the same way, Selenium, Cypress, they both supports web automation, right? Cypress, I will say like 5-6 old automation tool. Selenium is in the market from last 15 years. Quite stable, huge community, free. Cypress having the less community support as of now, but it's growing day by day. It is an advanced tool because a lot of sync issues has been solved, a lot of new features which you don't find in Selenium. But obviously, Cypress have its own limitations. Multi-window is not out of the box supported. Frame also is supported now through a plugin, but very limited. And few things are still have limitation in Cypress, but apart from that, it's wonderful. Cypress also have a paid dashboard service. Let's say if you want to run your test in parallel mode, right? Then they have a dashboard service which is completely free in Selenium. So again, it comes to the same point. If companies is working on Cypress, you can't say that I will learn or I will implement in Selenium. No. If team is going with Cypress, you have to go with the Cypress. So again, thumb rule, if you have to stay in the market, you have to keep updated yourself. Don't stick to one tool, one technology, one IDE. Okay. Okay, let me see a couple of questions. My question is about it. My question is, can you start Selenium with Python in robot framework? Jalinder, I made one video on robot framework around like 6 months back, 1 hour 20 minutes, but the series is coming soon. It's very easy, very powerful, and again, no need to write any codes. I will come up with this series soon. Zia says, thank you Mukesh for your valuable suggestion, will definitely follow. Thank you so much, Zia. Okay, so one question from Gokul. Currently I'm using Jenkins in local If we want CI, then our system should be turned on, right, to run with the script also for static Jenkins. So Gokul, maybe you have to reframe your sentence, but I got your question. You're saying right now you're running Jenkins on your local system for practice. Obviously, the moment you shut down your system, the Jenkins server will get stopped, right? Then how your script will run, which is perfectly fine. This is only for tutorial purpose. What I do, I install Jenkins in my local and I run it. But in real times, this Jenkins will be installed on a server, on a VM, which is running 24/7 into 365. And you have multiple slaves connected. So one Jenkins, multiple slaves. So Jenkins master will not run your test cases. It will redirect to these slaves. So you will be having multiple team members. These team members can access the Jenkins from here. Jenkins will run on the slave. I hope you got my answer right. Vikrant says, how good Python Selenium versus Java Selenium if I want to shift? Vikrant, if you would have asked me this question in 2019 or 18, I would have said Java, Python, JavaScript. Now I will change little bit. It should be Java, JavaScript and Python. Because a lot of tools coming from the JavaScript category, not from the Python. So if you just talk about Python, we have Selenium and Playwright. But what about JavaScript? In JavaScript, you have Playwright, you have Puppeteer, which is again now Playwright, WebDriver IO, Cypress, Nightwatch, and so on. So if you ask me now, Java, JavaScript, Python. Maybe C# I will keep on third or fourth. So this is subjective. Shushma, is sir always we run on test in Jenkins? Yes, Shushma, this is the best practices. If your company don't follow, that is a different thing. Many companies, they don't have Jenkins server. If you have a small company, then if they don't have Jenkins, if they don't have CI servers, right, they simply, whenever the tests start, they will run on a dedicated machine using grid and they can continue. But the ideal way should be, there should be at least one CI server which can run your test cases. Ideal way. See, this is the best practices. Again, like what is our best practice? We should take a rest of 8 hours. We should eat healthy. We should do this, right? But we don't follow. But still we are able to continue with our life, right? Same goes here. So many conventions, so many best practices that we need to follow. But even if you don't follow, it's okay. But this is the ideal way. So if you're planning for job change, yes, you need to learn Jenkins. If you're planning for interviews, yes, you need to build a story that how you have used Jenkins to trigger your execution. It's a very easy tool, Sushma. If you go through my playlist, more than 20 videos I have Jenkins. That is more than enough for interviews. Star Satish is what about opening on APM or API testing? Huge, Satish. Nowadays, Selenium or web automation goes parallelly with API. That is not optional, it's mandatory. Web automation, API automation is mandatory. APM may be optional or the third point, but the first three is mandatory now. Web automation, API automation, web automation with at least one of the BDD framework. Selenium with Cucumber or Cypress with Mocha. Okay, or sorry, Cypress with Cucumber also. API testing with Postman, and if you're using Java, then rest assured. So it's mandatory. Gaurav Patel, please explain framework structure interview for 3 experience and mean what they expect is. Gaurav, I have made one video last year, one of the best video I have made so far, how to explain your framework in interviews. It has crossed more than 3 lakh views so far. Please go ahead and watch that video. Okay, so Manish says, this is a very interesting question. Manish Sharma says, hey Mukesh, I observed whatever YouTube videos we see on YouTube or Udemy site, the framework in the company is not much simple. Any views on this? See Manish, I totally agree. Even when I joined a company, okay, when I was in Dell, I saw a huge framework. It took me 3 months to understand how this framework actually works. When I joined SAP, again, they had 6 different framework. Like every team had a different framework, and that framework was running like from almost 3 years. So when we teach, right, we teach framework in 2 hours or maybe in 4 hours. You cannot build the complete framework in 2 hours or 4 hours. Sometimes framework takes years to build, right? If you talk about one of the tool called Sahi, it took years to come to this concrete stage. Even Serenity framework, still they are adding features, still they are adding a lot of new features. So framework is like iteration process. You have to keep on adding new features, new methods, libraries, reporting, right? So I totally agree. When you join, you see a very big framework, but it takes time. You start going through each and every file. What I do, I take one test case and I go in a reverse order. I see what the test case is, what are the different methods it's using, what classes it is extending, how it is linking, how it is getting parameters, from where it is taking the data. So instead of going through each and every file, pick one test case and start in a reverse order. But I totally agree, this is happening, and it should be fine. If you understand the basics, you can easily traverse your framework. If you know Java concepts, if you are familiar with the Selenium or whatever, maybe Cypress or Playwright, then you know how these commands work. It is just you need to understand this mapping. So Jalendra, I guess your question is answered, right? So Kanya P says, hi Mukesh, will you do any Catalan videos for Catalan test operation? So Kanya, this is not sure because I don't have professional license as of now. The basic community edition, I don't have this much features. So I will check if I get a professional license. I can plan a series on this, but as of now, no plan. There's a channel called Automation Step by Step by Raghav Pal. You can check his videos. Complete series is available. Raghavendra, can you please explain about SQL injection? Raghavendra, I have never performed SQL injection, but if you need a reference, go to a channel called Saksham Chaudhary, the computer guy. His channel is Saksham Chaudhary, the computer guy. He has a lot of videos on SQL injection. He is the guy who actually talks about cybersecurity, security testing, penetration testing, and so on. He have one video of 8 hours. If you go through that 8 hours of video, you will understand what is security testing, what is pen testing, say cyber security, and so on. So check out his video once. Okay. Ayappa says we are using Gradle build tool how to perform parallel testing. So again, Ayappa, Maven and Gradle, they both are build tool. So in Maven also you will be providing XML. This XML, this testng.xml is doing the actual parallel testing, parallel execution. In Gradle also you can execute this testng.xml which will perform parallel test. So whether using Maven or Gradle, you can do the same. So for Gradle, I have around 4 to 5 videos. There I have explained how to trigger your testng.xml from Gradle. Please go ahead. Vikrant says, I have gone through your Jenkins tutorial. It was well compiled. Thank you so much, Vikrant. Raghavan says, SQL injection covered. Could you please, will you be able to make video on regular expression? Okay, noted, Vikrant. I will do that. Pooja says, AI testing tool have good market in the future. See, Pooja, I would say learn at least the basics. At least you should have what exactly these tools are. Like one of the comment that we have seen today, right? Autonomous one accelerator IQ, autonomous IQ, test trigger, test sigma. So at least once you go through each one tool, right, you will have understanding what this AI tool does, how they actually run, how to write the test cases, how to pass the reusable rules, and how to pass the data variables, how to run them CI servers. So at least get the basic idea. At least should not be blank if somebody is asking you. I have around 8 videos on test trigger, 12 more videos coming soon. When you go through that playlist, right, you will have enough understanding how these English based AI based tools are coming in the market and how they can help. So Gokul Raj have joined as a member. Thank you so much, Gokul, for joining as a member. Okay, so we have a couple of more questions, but I think it's already 8:15. So what I will do, we can take a lot of whatever questions we have, we can take it maybe in the next session. But I'm very impressed with the questions which we are getting today. They all are advanced, and it makes sense to discuss each and every question. It makes sense to make a video in each and every question. Okay, so let's do one thing, guys. Let's have a session tomorrow, tomorrow Friday. Let's see whether we can cover everything or not. My video, like, the battery is dead, so you will not see my video, but still, if you want, we can have 5-10 minutes of Q&A. Okay, so one question, I can take few last 4-5 questions. Browser Firefox, Chrome, etc version get updated, so we need to keep update pom.xml with the latest driver always. No, Ashish, if you use WebDriver Manager, then definitely automatically it will take care. You don't need to do it manually. So if you are using manual drivers, then yes, it's a headache for you. But if you don't use WebDriver Manager, right, so that will be always you have to keep doing. But go ahead with the WebDriver Manager, WebDriver Manager.chromedriver.setup, WebDriver Manager.firefox.setup, WebDriver Manager.edgedriver.setup. Automatically it will take care of your drivers. Now in the WebDriver Manager 5, they have added a new feature where you don't need to start a session. Automatically it will set up a driver, create a session, and it will return you a driver reference. That's a very interesting feature, but it is only available in WebDriver Manager 5. Gokul says, I really like the Q&A session. Thank you so much, Gokul. Rahul have one question. I have got selected in 4 companies. All document part complete, still not getting any offer letter. So Rahul, first of all, many congratulations for 4 offer letters. And if you're not getting offer letter, then see, you can only do the follow-up part, right? So sometimes what happens when you got selected, maybe you got selected today, and maybe they are waiting for some approvals, right? So if somebody is not available, or maybe they are on leave, or if they're busy, if you're not getting approval, so sometimes this offer letter get delayed. Okay, so wait for a week, wait for maximum 2 weeks, then follow with the HR. If you have a number, call them after. Don't call them immediately. Maybe call them after 2-3 days. Drop a text. Okay. If not, then follow through email. But don't get panicked that yesterday you got selected, you were expecting offer letter today. No, it doesn't work in that way. Sometimes, because this approval goes through again your manager, then director. If you are above the salary band which they have provided, it might go through further approvals as well, right? Then finally HR and all. So if somebody is on leave, somebody is not available, again it will go for, it will be coming late. So wait for it. After that, please follow up with them. Please take up my question. Souvik says, which framework would you suggest for Salesforce testing? The thing they are in my radar or robot framework or playwright or anything else. I'm working for startup, please. So Souvik, one tool I already mentioned here, right? That is a paid tool. I don't know the pricing and all, but I want to check what kind of scenarios you have, right? See, robot framework is already, I will say, cooked framework. You don't have to do much. You just need to call the keywords. You need to create your custom keywords and continue. Obviously, it's very well established, very I will say concrete framework. Playwright, you have to write everything from the scratch again. But Playwright have obviously its own features, right? You can put as they automatically take care of the smart weight and all. In robot framework, you need to do it. So if your team is comfortable, then definitely go with Playwright. But robot framework don't need any coding. Some keywords and you are good to go. Okay, so guys, I don't think I will be able to take all the questions, so let's do it again tomorrow. What I will do, let me take one last question because that is coming repeatedly. Suranjit Beshwa says, do you have any plans for AP automation testing and Unacademy? So Suranjit, not with Unacademy, but yes, I will come up with my own course on at iNeuron. So 16th we are starting this Cypress. Then September we are starting Selenium. In between, probably in August, I will be starting a REST assured batch. I will keep you posted. If we just say this one, this batch is starting from next Saturday. And this is the coupon code. Yes, Jatin, you are late today. The session is about to end. Okay, so Rohit has one question. Hello sir, which is the better in terms of career growth and personal development, Tosca and Selenium? Without any doubt, Selenium. See, Tosca is also a good tool, but again, if you talk about the licensing, it's very costly. If your company is using Tosca, then yeah, good, go ahead. But many companies can't even afford the Tosca license. So as I said, if you have a project requirement, if you got a task on Tosca, you have to do it, right? No doubt about it. But if you are looking for a career growth, Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, go with these tools. Okay, so yeah, that's all from my side. If you have any other question, then we can anyways connect tomorrow. Tomorrow I will try to cover what we planned, cross browser and parallel execution, and let's see, from Monday we'll start the Cypress series. So yeah, how was the session today? Any feedback, anything that you want to highlight in today's session? Neha Singh says Selenium is good or Catalan Studio. Catalan Studio community have very basic features. If you have to explore more, you need to have paid edition. So again, Selenium wins the race in this case. So I started Catalan when I started Catalan in 2017. It was completely free. All the features were free. But after that, they removed a couple of features. They came up with a new, I would say, plan. So community have very basic features. Even for the reporting, you need to pay. So if your company have the license, go ahead with that. Lot of openings are still available for Catalan test project as well. But if you compare with Selenium, no comparison. Because for Catalan, again, you have to learn a little bit about Groovy, because the moment you have to change any method, right, in the Catalan, you will need to write a Groovy method. Souvik, I don't have any idea about Capodo. I've never used this framework or never heard of this Capodo framework. Maybe I will copy this for my reference and I will check it after the session, but no idea. Okay, so that's all from my side. Thank you so much for joining and good night. Take care and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.